It's almost the same. However, we have been working on getting Louise a new PC, or at least a bit of an upgrade to his PC. Oh boy, wait, oh crap. Where's my commentary stream window? Oh, okay, apparently we are off. I was not on the SRL chat, so I missed the start. Here we go! This is your semi-final for today. Second semi-final, the other one was Akiteru versus Tokyo, where Akiteru took Tokyo down in the 2-0. I unfortunately was not there to witness it, but I was reported that Tokyo got infinited multiple times by Octopus, resulting in a sort of screw this game and I'm out. So hopefully we're not going to see the game decide anything today and see the runners decide what's going to happen here. Although we do all know, we've seen it plenty of times throughout this tournament, that most people are fine with this game, and then there's Sigma Claws, and basically, well, now and then Sigma Claws are like the game's shoving a stick up your butt, to put it fairly cleanly. Ooh, Darrenville almost bonks a little B there. Would have some bad memories there from his first race against Fata, where he died against one of those. Although in this case he does have 5 HP, so it wouldn't have died. And doesn't look like there's too much going on for the intro. I do assume Nero had a little bit better Bs because he's slightly ahead. And he almost got a bad bullet there above the pit, and he had to, well, dodge out of that. But he deals with it nicely and has no issues whatsoever. And with that, we are going on to our very first file fight for the day. Not to mention the... We don't mention this enough, how cool the Zero team is. You only hear it for like a couple seconds, but it's pretty damn cool. Oh, outer space file on the Ananero. And that sets them nearly at the same time to finish this intro stage. Oh boy. What a race. Oh my god. Fun fact, it rarely happens, but Nero is one of those few people who can scroll through that Japanese text and actually read it because he's Japanese. Most of us do not actually manage to read this text, ever. This fact is completely pointless, but there you have it. And with that, we move on to the Penguin stage. We need ourselves a fancy pair of boots to actually get through the game fast. Because without that, this would not be a speedrun. And even then, sometimes we pick up the boots and it does not end up being a speedrun, but you know, it's still better to take your chances. Climb's going fairly well. Oh, Nero missing a slow jump, and Darrenville mimics it. I bet they're just copy pasting each other's homework here. Or maybe it's scripted, I don't know. I don't know if these people have talked to each other behind the scenes. Maybe they're just sitting on Discord. Hey, you want to miss a slope jump? Because, you know, I feel like missing the slope jump today. Why the text background info text before the game start was in English? Well, to give you an answer to that, I don't have an answer to that. I would say, why don't you send an email to Capcom and be like, what the hell did you do 25 years ago when you made this game? Because that makes no sense. Yeah. Anyway, decent times getting into the Penguin stage. Not top tier, but still excellent. You demand answers! Okay, fine. You want an answer? The guy who worked on this game 25 years ago was Japanese, but he was a freaking rebel, and he wanted this country to speak more English, so he put all of this stuff in English. All of this is probably crap, but you know, there you have it. Meanwhile, a couple slides going down back and forth on your screens. But Nero and Darrenville get the penguin kills almost simultaneously. Nero a little bit earlier, and both had a couple slides, but nothing really bad. So X shaking an angry fist in the air as he pops out, ready to take on another Maverick. And Nero making a little pit stop on that bottom right tile there, trying to go to the Sigma stage, but unfortunately had to realize that he still had 7 Mavericks to go before that actually unlocks. Yeah, I know it is. He's right, and it's in English, but anyway, Nero got a little bit of a Mason chain to the face there, allowing Darrenville a little bit of a takeover. So far, both of them are really just neck on neck, and it's almost a sync race, so we'll probably see a lot of back and forth between them as things go. As I said, our PBs are 7 seconds apart, so we really just expect them to be constantly back and forth and beating up each other's neck. No, that is not true. The title of this game is actually in Japanese, because in English it's Mega Man, and clearly the Japanese word for Mega is rock, because in Japanese it's Rockman. So today I taught all of you a Japanese word. It's called rock, and it's the translation for Mega. Also, don't believe anything I say. So on the outside climb, Darren actually missed out one ladder yetter. Nero did actually kill it, so we have a slight takeover again. I mean, it's funny to look at it because you know boat runners are really close in time, so it's funny to see how little mistakes constantly kind of like swap them back and forth. Yeah, I know. I'll have you know I am not a master's degree in Japanese nor English. Teach you some Dutch though. So, but our runners initiating a little dance with the Goanker, a little Japanese beetle over here. Nero actually getting a really good pattern out of that, almost a full tango. Something you don't really see that often. Usually Goanker breaks out a little bit earlier. Boom, there we go. See, we only have a couple seconds apart between these two. That is great, and with that we're gonna go to Chameleon. Chameleon usually such a straightforward stage, you don't really expect to see anything change here. There could be just a cave that gives issues to either one, or unexpected things could happen. As we know, the cave is usually the most unexpected thing here. Rocks could be falling right in your face in a manner that you can't really avoid them. So far, no hits anywhere. Ooh, Darren has to be a little bit careful. Ah, Nero takes one to the face. But that was the only accident that really happened. And it didn't really cost him so much because he's still slightly ahead. So, and then we have the freestyling swamp section. Although what they're doing here looks pretty similar, but I mean, that's always the case. And does either of them do the charged buster strat? No. There is a new strat here where you can start the Chameleon fight with a charged buster, a blue shot. However, both of them have not actually charged anything and straight went to boomerangs. So they're gonna do the classical fight where, you know, nothing really happens except for the Chameleon getting slaughtered. Hooray, explosions. Both of them are pretty cool guys because they did look the other way from the explosion. because that's what cool guys do, they look the other way. Up next we have Eagle. Eagle, always a fun stage. Now, Nero is known for being someone that's really consistent, and in his consistency, part of that is that he is someone that will use a lot of safe strats. He's not really going to go for things that offer a high risk, so I do not expect him to go for the dead kick. And I believe, I'm not sure if Darren actually does that kick usually, but he will definitely not attempt it, since he knows Nero is a master of safe strats and also being really consistent at whatever he does in his safe strats. So it would be stupid to take a risk knowing that your opponent's not ever going to take that risk and put yourself a half stage behind for no reason. And since nothing really went poorly there, well, took us only this long to get to Eagle, and now maybe Eagle decides a little bit if someone gets out early or not, because this guy can give a lot of dives. However, so far, one dive each. Okay, 2 dives, Nero, and Darren gets the crap pattern with a hover. So Nero had a slightly better RNG here, but neither had a really bad Eagle, so pretty good, pretty good. Boom. Fist raise at 16 and at 19. 3 seconds apart. I mean, what is 3 seconds apart in the semifinals race? That's like literally nothing. I mean, that is not literally nothing, that's literally 3 seconds, but you know. In the giant scheme of things, it could as well be nothing. We see some really well placed ice shots out of him to start off the stage. And then unfortunately that one guy, it actually feels kind of bad that this one blue guy at the very top, you have to kill him with the tornado, and you can't really show off how skillful you are by placing an ice shot in the middle of that gigantic robot body by having a good timing, because you're just so up close to him that you can't really do that. Unless you want to move left first and like waste time for no apparent reason. Nero gets some really good RNG out of Thunder Slimer, and Darren unfortunately has to sit there with some Thunder Slimer. Perhaps Nero kind of like rigged Darren and glued his Thunder Slimer to the ceiling, because it always really sucks when he doesn't come down and really kind of waste your time. I knew I shouldn't have sold him the super glue, dang it. But yeah, that means he's a little bit further behind, and you know, RNG can't make out a decent part of this game, although mostly it's gonna be minor. And let's be fair here. That door closes behind Nero at like 50 seconds, and on Darren's end at like 54, 55. So he lost maybe an extra second over the grand total of things, which is not really a big deal. Yeah, Metal can dodge a couple of your shots, well, not really dodge, but when he does his punching animation, your timing gets thrown off a little bit. Ooh, Nero gets punched in the butt on his final hit, but doesn't really care, finishes it anyway, and we're through. So, still really close. Who would have thought? Three seconds apart. It's like I have to say this every other stage. Literally. Oh. Little route divergence. You can actually put in Mammoth anywhere you want, so perhaps this is part of Nero's true repertoire, where we do say that he's a master of safe strats. And you know, Mammoth 6 is technically optimized placement, because you okay, if I'm not mistaken, it was you save legitimately 2 frames by going Mammoth 6 on your stage select. So this man just saved 2 whole frames over his opponent Darrenville. Vile. I still don't know where it has to be Ville or Vile, but it's written different on different places. But in any case, if this man wins, that's probably why, because he went Mammoth 6th, never forget. And they're already arriving at Mammoth while Darren is still on the way to Billow. Picks up a heart there. Safety item, always nice to have an 90%, you never know what's gonna happen, especially in the late game. Now you could think Nero, oh my god, Nero's so fast, he completes the stage so much faster. Well, maybe, but the stage is simply but shorter than the Dillo stage. Mammoth actually one of the shortest stages, I believe, together with stages like, oh, what is it again? Chameleon and there was another one. I think it was Eagle that I want to say, but I'm not really sure. So there we go. Mammoth already done here, but probably, I mean, Darren didn't really slow down anywhere, so it's not that they're really far apart right now. It just looks that way because, you know, different order of stages. It's all how you favor it. Or perhaps how long you want to wait before you go into the pausing zone of the low stages. You do get a lot of minecarts to ride, and you can just sit there and be like, ah, relax my hands. Yeah, we basically do have to wait for Sigma 1 to see the runners come together again. However, unless we see any major mishaps out of either of them, you can safely assume they're gonna arrive there at approximately the same time. And so far we haven't really seen any major mishaps or any deaths, unfortunately. Nero also picking up a safety heart in Dillo, which makes sense. It's one of those hearts that literally takes you not even a second to pick up, really. All you have to do is like make a jump up, curl your boomerang that way, and boom. Darren maybe a little bit of time loss on that sub there, had to jump around a little bit as the sub blew him out, but oh, dodges. Excuse me, all the missiles. I actually don't think Darren got bad RNG on Dillo either, so we'll have to see for Nero rolls. Oh, never mind, barely any rolls. That's just fine. And on the other hand, Darren has to deal with Octo now, which is always a little bit more dangerous, because if you do jump to his energy drain attack, you can get infinited. And as we've seen in the other semi-final, or as you guys have seen as I missed it, there could always be someone like Tokyo or Darren or Nero that just gets infinited to hell and just, yeah, ends up being like, okay, screw this game. But Darren gets a clean fight, not a single energy drain, it's just the way you would dream about every single one of your Octo fights. And with that, Nero enters his final Maverick with Octo. And Darren will do the same, but then with Mammoth. And probably by the end of these stages, we'll see them come together quite a bit again. Octo is actually also a surprisingly short stage. It just looks really long because there are so many places where you need to stand still and kill a mini-boss, which is, well, kind of stupid. One of the other casters that we've heard a lot more at the start of the tournament, Kaz, feels like this is just really poor game design as well. It's like, we don't really feel like making much effort of creating a stage here, so we're just gonna place like a million mini bosses in it, which is maybe a little bit silly, yeah. Shut up, Berlin. Everyone has to die eventually, at least once. And with that, Nero arrives at they're missing a little jump there. Nero is at the Octo. Let's see if he also gets such a clean fight. Ah, Nero, as I do say, Master of Save strats will go to cut the arms off of Octopus. And that's a 1906 kill on Nero's final Maverick, so it does seem that in the mix of things that Nero did manage to pull a bit ahead. 1916 kill for Darren, So that's what, 10 seconds apart. So over the course of the two of them splitting up in their reds, not only did he gain those 2 frames from going Mammoth 6th, he also got another 7 seconds minus 2 frames. So that's like 418 frames over there and elsewhere. Speaking of saving it all. So here our real speedrun kind of begins, you would say, because most people do consider the 8 map not a great challenge, even any percent, once you get really used to it. A couple of the 8 map fights can be quite bad, but it's nothing terrible. Ooh, Darren misses Leap of Fate, so we'll have to take a little detour here. Nothing too bad. Ooh. Always dangerous to miss this here, because, you know, it's not the worst that you can take, but still. Nero going through on his way to the skip. There, and gets that little tap on the ground. Nero gets trapped. Game's so much harder than it looks. My man, have you even practiced this game? Game's easy. Darren also gets trapped, but File was not very cooperative and decided to like troll him for a little bit, play with his food. Don't play with your food, guys. That's bad education. Someone call Vile's mom and tell him those are not good manners to have. Oh. That's one of the feels bad man thing about Vile fight. If you miss a rolling shield and it rolls all the way to the other side, and it takes like 5 years to get there. So Nero took 1 hit, but it's not too bad. And Darren had the same here, just missing 1 rolling shield. And oof. File actually dashed off screen, and now he gets trapped. Ugh, that's kind of unfortunate. Both of their fights were not really that clean, I would say, but you know, could just be race jitters. Also, depending on your position, it determines a bit where Vile goes, and you know. Oh, Nero actually skips through. For a second I thought it would do the Kawanger skip, but I suppose that would not fit into his repertoire of save strats, as you can in fact offlog the game with that. Just initiates a little dance. Darren does attempt to steal more money from me with that Kawanger skip, but he already got $30, so... Well, that's a little bit harsh to put it, actually, Ross, man. While I understand your opinion there, that it does take a lot of work and dedication to get really good at these games, I would really like to point out that you're a little bit over the top there with committing to muscle memory with no life in 18 hours. There are a lot of people in the community that do have a job. For example, Walrus. Everyone here knows Walrus. He's probably the most active runner for the past year or so. This guy has a full-time job. Still his world record. Just depends on what you want to put your time into when you get home, I guess. But we can't really tell people what to do, and I completely understand people that don't want to do that much for it. I'm personally just the same. I don't want to be working on that every day. Meanwhile, Nero takes down the spider. Easy peasy. No problem here. Darren still working on it on his end, but for a second I thought it was going to dash into spider. It didn't look too nice, but hey. Yeah, it's definitely harder to beat the game quickly. But I mean, it's a hobby, you know, like if you want to do it. Beating a game fast is definitely pretty difficult. Woohoo! Slides! So that's 2 slides already for Nero, it looks like. Penguin, ooh, 3. Looks like Penguin does not agree with Nero being at 4. 5. Okay, 5. Oh, alright. Darren had 1. I had 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it a double? Oh, 4. Okay. For a second I thought Penguin was gonna give a little edge to Darren, and it was a really little edge, as he gave him a couple extra slides towards the end. So Nero now onto the Eagle. So far, 1 dive, 2 dive, 3 dive, sold. 1 Eagle soul goes to Nero for 3 dives and a rupee. On the left we see Darren getting 1 dive, 2 dive, 3 dive and 4 dive. Sold for 4 dives and a rupee. Positivity? Who the crap's positive around here? Oh, Nero tried to do a nice double shot, instantly aiming at the left eye. Unfortunately, the left eye decided it was not yet time to open up, and it was the nose's turn to play, so... Good patterns though, and a nice execution for Nero on 2 green eyes for Darren. The game saying, screw you, you get the fanciest eye color, but in this game that's just honestly garbage. Anyone that does not agree with me that green eyes are the best can just get out. And there we go, and there with a little bit of a safe strat here, takes a little damage boost to make sure that he gets in the right position, fires a sled backwards, and gets through just fine. Picks up a little health from that one miner guy, who was a kind, oh, you didn't kill our boss, that might be kind of you here, have some HP. See, karma does exist, guys, even in video games. And looks like Darren gets a skip 2, and we get the CFO strat from Nero to Chameleon to make this fight a little bit more impressive and a little less boring. There we go. Darren does the fight on the boring way without CFO, but you know, can't blame him. Perhaps he just didn't study. Yeah, it doesn't save you that much, so I think it saves you maybe a second if you do it optimally. Nero, pretty clean fight with Manuel so far. Boom. Gorilla down. Also, while we're actually in the middle of this run, if you are enjoying what these guys are doing, you might just take a quick look before they get crapped on by the Sigma claws. Just go to their local channels at the darrenville file, oh, whatever really, I don't know, and Nero X2 with an underscore, of course, to see if you'd like to drop them a follow, which is always appreciated. And Nero with the, oh my god, no drain octopus. This man has the best RNG ever. I wonder why. It could have something to do with cutting the arms of octopus. Meanwhile, Darren has to sit through a couple drains. He is not jumping in the drains because, yeah, clearly it's a risk. If he gets infinited, and that's what we're all scared of, he basically, yeah, gets a 30-second setback. Like Ville? Darrenville? That's how I would say it, but it sounds really awkward when I say that while speaking English. Or darrenville. Like a chicken fillet. Darren fillet. I'll just call him Darren. I don't know about that. We don't say a Nero X2 either. Anyway, Mammoth's quite a pushover, as per usual, and then T-Rex can be a bit of a pain, depending on what pattern you get, but Nero gets a very nice pattern. He gets a Spark Ball. Okay. Survives with 2 HP. Thank God for that extra HP that he took in the Dillo stage, because otherwise Nero had been pretty dead. So Spark Ball is actually the nice one, but Nero probably had a slight error in his timing. And over here we have Darren voluntarily kind of bonking into D-Rex. It was a bit weird, but yes, I do know other languages. Yes. I live in Belgium, so my native language would be Dutch. In the southern half of Belgium, they speak French, so I speak that a bit. Actually, I have 4 basic languages in the educational system of Belgium, which is Dutch, French, German, and English. If I wouldn't have a job, I would speak more English in a day than I spoke Dutch, though. So. Meanwhile, on top of the actual race, we have initiated our first Valgarder fight on your right with Nero _ X2. And the dog went down damageless, which is very nice to see. And Darren applies head dog strategies. While on your right we already see Jedi being taken on by Nero. So far, no damage taken yet for Nero. Darren got through the Valgarder just the same. So it really looks like Nero is way ahead, and it's his race to lose. Although, as we all know, when it comes to claws, you don't really get a say in what's gonna go and happen here, right? Let's see, what do we have for Nero? Nero with a pause buffer actually to see where the claw is going. Oops, misses a rolling shield there. Bit careful, wants to wait the shots out, would rather not die. I don't think Nero will be the kind of guy that watches his opponent actually almost dropped into that fire, but he does finish this race with what I saw was 32:02. And meanwhile, on your left there, and Godfrey Jedi unscathed and is now working his way through final sig, and looks like he doesn't get very bad RNG, right claw not bothering him either. So this is a 32:20, about 20 seconds, a little bit less apart between the 2 of these runners, and sending the victory of race number 1 to Nero _ X2. Get hype! And what is Nero doing? And Nero, meanwhile, has reset his console and jumped straight back into Sigma 1. Not really sure why. Perhaps he wants to do a quick leap of faith to check if he still has any fate left for the next run. Apparently he does. Gosh darn it. Oh, actually, I think Nero will want to do the file fight again, because his file fight was not very clean. So, yeah. Yeah, as someone just said there, he's in. Just as you put it in the chat, I actually thought about it. The file fight was not clean on Nero's side, and it's actually a dangerous fight. If you go up against file and it's not very clean, I mean, that fight can go really, really fast for you to win it. But yeah, your rolling shields going off screen or just bonking file. Bonking file does like so much damage that you might as well just, you know, throw a nuclear bomb on your own face twice. Okay, I'm not really sure if our runners want a mini break or not. I would like to get into the SRL race channel, but I was a little bit late on it earlier. Hmm. So I need to wait until they restart the channel. Crap. Damn it. Okay, I was trying to eat something and I dropped it. Crap. And it's dark in my room and I can't find it. Oh, here it is. Okay, so I guess Nero is happy with his Vile fight now. Only had to do that once. Great. If only we had to practice everything only once. Wouldn't that be great? Like, just practice it once and then you're good at it. If only this was true. I didn't drop it on the floor. It fell on my chair. So it was... Okay, it was under my butt. It might not be cleaner than on the floor, but it wasn't on the floor. Besides, the 5-second rule. If my food wasn't on my butt for like under my butt for 5 seconds, it was still clean. Ya know. Also, I have the most fabulous butt in the entire MMX community, so anyone's food touching my butt, that stuff's just sacred. If your food ever touches my butt, you're gonna eat it, and it's gonna be tasting 10 times better than before. Okay, meanwhile, I have managed to struggle my way into the SRL channel, where I'm checking, but I guess that at least one of them will be AFK. Darren is apparently good to go. You don't think so? Please. Have you even seen my butt? That thing's glorious. Reminder, it was posted live on the MMX community Discord one day. Together with Tiki's. We were literally butt buddies that day. If you didn't see it, you definitely missed out. Because like Grandpa's butt and the community village idiot's butt were both live on the Discord. See, that's the thing. I don't know what the secret is. I just one day, to troll someone, I was gonna go and take a picture of my butt. And then I looked at the picture, I was like, God damn, I have a nice butt. that was, yeah. Wait, what? Wait, what band? Wait, what am I saying that is against the rules? Because I did not read any updates on it. I have to fill my time with something, dude. We're not even talking naked butts here. We're not showing anything either. Anyway. Meanwhile, I see Nero and Darren are about readied up, so we're just kind of waiting for Fiesel to give everybody the go sign, so I expect in a couple minutes that we'll get going. What? Okay, as far as I can see, we'll be going soon here. Anyway, on another note, I have also not yet been called back by the SRL, no, by the speed gaming crew that I have to tune it down, so I hope we're okay. Although part of me thinks, Ultra, that this is just you and your entire family-friendly business trying to boycott me. Oh boy, look at that synchronized start. Is that not the most beautiful thing you've ever seen? It's like we're this far into the race and we are in perfect sync. Never mind. Thanks a lot, Nero. Never mind. So for the perfect sync. Did I just commentator curse someone literally on the first enemies in the intro? Oh my god, dude. I'm terrible. This is the part where you need Justin to be here so I have a reason to be quiet because someone else can talk these guys through the intro. Oh, really? Okay. You actually scared me for a second there. I don't want to get the speed gaming channel shut down. Anyway, so bow players should bees. Nero, despite his early little bonk, had a bit better bees and got through that slightly faster. So he is now in a miniature lead, going over the crumbled bridge. You know, somewhere in an alternate universe, there has to be a very frustrated constructor guy. Every time he's trying to fix this bridge, this stupid ass blue guy passes by and pops that thing back down. You know, like, screw you and your bridge repairs. And he has to start over. I know I would get frustrated. I wouldn't fix that bridge anymore. Perhaps they'll update it in a patch sometime in the future. There we have file already popping up on your right, and now on your left. And then we say goodbye to Eagle's airship for a moment. Oh, Nero does not get the outer space file this time, but Darren semi does. So there's that. Oh, sorry if yeah, sorry, the entire talk there, I actually even missed that Darren dropped down. My bad. I get distracted sometimes. So, back on our way to Penguin though. We have to go and pick up our boots once again in order to go fast. And then deal with the nightmare of slides. Speaking of slides, maybe it's actually worth to mention that we've always spoken of the slides of Penguin and what you can do and not do, and how bad it can be if he decides to do multiple slides in a row. And it is semi, not really very frequent, but not that rare to see a double slide. Then quite rarely you see a triple slide. But this week, thanks to our local chatter, Berlin Dude 1 here, we finally have a clip of the legendary, mythical... If you were thinking I was gonna say there's finally a girl on the internet, they still don't exist, but there is actually such a thing as the legendary Quadra slide. It's something that you almost never get to see, but dang. It exists, and now we have video proof that the Quadra slide exists. If it ever happens to you in your run, clip it, even in casual play, because that stuff's really, really rare. And with that, Nero gets through his door and we'll be ready to start this Penguin fight. Hopefully we do not get one of those legendary Quadra slides here. And then for the same. Oh, there we get the first slide for both Nero and Darren. 2, 2, 3 for both. Double slide. Double slide. 5 for both. Well, this is a simultaneous RNG that we're getting here. 6 for Nero, 6 for Darren. I hope I've been counting right, so 7 for Darren, so geez, 6 and 7 slides, this has been quite the penguin fight. If these were PB attempts, both people probably would have reset by now. Jeez. 6 and 7 slides are like way more than what you really want to. It's funny because they both had a double slide at exactly the same time. Yeah, Nero without a Mason chain to the face this time. Always a good feel. Oop. And then Darren with the bad feel as he misses a dash before jumping. A clean turtle skip for Nero, and Darren gets a torpedo up the butt and passes through. Yeah, for the rest of it, it's fine. And now they will be passing their way up the elevator and doing their climb. And if you will excuse me, I will be muted for just 1 second. Alright, excuse me, I really need to drink. Yeah, as we saw, Nero had a little bit of issues on both his out and inside climb, and all the time that he lost there, the game kind of gave it back to him by at least returning him a big health drop so he could fill up before Kuwanger, just in case. But yeah, all the elite that he did build up until now was kind of lost. Did Nero just get a second god tier Kuwanger? Jesus, what is wrong with this guy? Do you get extra benefits playing a JP card when you're actually in Japan or something? Jeez. I think he had like almost he had like 2 times a god tier Kuwanger with only one slight moment at the end where like, oh, well, we're done with this fight, no more dancing. So with that, like, he does simply get a little bit of a lead again. It's like the game gives to Nero and it takes away, and then it takes away again, and then it gives back. But it takes away again because he gets a couple rocks smacked in his face. Oh, never mind, Darren gets the same. Other than that, we will probably be fine for the rest of the stage. Just need to kill a couple enemies in the swamp section. Actually, moving in the swamp section is pretty important. Well, I mean, it's the most important factor in this game anywhere, but you really kind of want to be on your toes, since it's really annoying to get through this area, as that stupid mud keeps you stuck all the time and makes you really slow. No. I mean, let's play a game for this fight. If you could describe this chameleon fight with one word, what would it be? Easy? Boring? Stupid? Resident sleeper? You tell me, because I don't know. Broken? Patched? Nerfed? I don't know. Anyway, as we fantastic. I don't know. I don't know about that one. Alright, Eagle stage, riding a little bit of an elevator. Oh my god, look at the speed that Nero drives on that elevator, and they're in the same. It's like, oh my god, turbo boost 179. 420 blaze of that elevator. And here we see boat runners passing through the platforms, nice and easy. No dead kicks, much disappointed. Well, I mean, I'm never disappointed seeing a dead kick. Just disappointed if they don't die in it the first time. Awesome, clean. Yeah, well, good. That we arrive at the Eagle, so it's another RNG bird fight, and we'll have to just sit here and count what RNG says for these guys. Case of Nero, not much. Same for Darren, and it seems that it will stay that way for Nero and for Darren. This race is literally scripted because they keep getting the same RNG. They both got smacked by 2 rocks in the Chameleon Cave. They both got a doubles slide at the same time in Penguin. They both get no dives. What am I doing here? Although, actually, if you see that boat runners are getting very similar RNG, it's actually a good thing, because there you can really see that if one runner pulls ahead of the other, that probably there's like a mini edge on some small things that they do to pull them ahead. Although I guess the difference at this point, you could actually pull it all back to that 1B back in the intro stage where Darren got crap RNG and yeah, had to take a drop down. Excellently pulls out his boomerangs instead of his ice shot. Thunder Slimer sticking to the ceiling there on your right. Nope. Oh my god! The lag! The uncooperative Thunder Slimer! Whew. Okay. Darren got through that. That looked like a pain in the butt. Honestly, oh, I absolutely hate Thunder Slimer. If he gives you bad RNG and then he bounces and he throws bubbles and it's so laggy, I mean, that's just stupid. The only thing we're missing in this freaking channel is a WoW lag emote. Anyway, with that we do pass on to a much less laggier boss, which is this gorilla. You might think actually that Mandrill is lagging too, or at least, you know, when you're lagging that your game like freezes up. How does Mandrill feel? This guy could literally sit there all day and blame lag, because it's frozen for him like all the time. And with that, Nero ports out right as their explosions begin. And here we have a little divergence again. So Nero is actually a little bit ahead right now. I do believe it's about 10 to 15 seconds. I failed a little bit at pinpointing the exact time, but let's put it somewhere. Let's just say it's 12 seconds. Yeah. And now we see that they're just gonna split up again, and they will be back together, racing in Sigma 1. But for now, yeah, you will see a little bit of different things. Darren taking the amusement park rides on Dillo, and Nero riding conveyor belts. It's pretty important to note that the conveyor belts move in different directions as well, so your movement has to be different depending on which direction the conveyor belt goes. If it's going in the direction that you want to go, it just gives you speed while you're dashing. If it goes in the other direction, it kind of slows you down, so you just want to dash jump all over it. And just like last time, Nero will be arriving at his opponent a bit earlier, since the Mammoth stage is quite a bit shorter than Dillow's. Which almost seems ridiculous, considering that you spend like most of that stage riding on minecarts, which are pretty fast, but... And with that, Mammoth goes down. One thing that I do wish people would do more in these speedruns is cut off Mammoth's trunk, but unfortunately it does not really add anything for you in this speedrun. It's something you can do for fun, but in these higher end races you don't really want to take your time in doing that. Yeah, ending right in the middle on Mammoth is actually fairly easy because this room is really big and the camera kind of centers around you, so when you move left and right, unless you're on one of the edges of the room, you should be automatically centered anyway. It's definitely harder when you see, like with Darren on the left with Dillow, you have one room, and if you're not in the middle, you're not in the middle, that's it. But in Mammoth, camera just follows you. Now we see Darren going for a swim as Nero goes on his amusement park ride. And of course, the safety health, which Darren also got, but mentioned it before. And Darren now gets to go to a plethora of mini bosses. So much fun! Oh, actually he has a little bit of issues there with that second submarine. Took a couple hints and very bravely moves on without picking up one of those big HP drops, takes another hit to the face, and not gonna lie to you guys, if that Utoboros does not drop HP, now for Nero, what the? Oh my god, that's really bad, Dillo. Okay, Darren is actually gonna go in to Octopus with 5 HP. Nero ran out of spark. What? Okay, that's rare. He got a bunch of rolls and yeah, wasted a lot of ammo and frustration firing it at firing it all at thingy. But Darren is taking a bit of a risky road. He cannot take a lot of hits. If he takes hits anywhere, 3 HP left, and he still has half of Octopus to go. He can make this, but he needs to be careful. Okay, he'll be fine. This drain attack should be all he needs. Yeah, okay, good. Whew. Going on 5 HP against Octo is not impossible, but definitely dangerous. If you go in on 5 HP, it's really like... if he spawns like tons and tons of projectiles at the same time, it can become really difficult for you to dodge everything, if not impossible, because it also gets more and more laggy with more stuff on the screen. So 5 HP is definitely a risk taker, but he pulled it out nicely, so I will have to give props to Darren to pulling that out. Meanwhile, you all did see there, they were even commenting on the fact that he lost his weapon. Meaning, ran out of ammo. It's not like you lost spark for the rest of the run. It would be pretty funny if you run out of ammo, you just like drop the gun like, yeah, I don't need it anymore. Imagine dropping your rolling shield right before you get the final Sigma, like, oops, I kinda need that thing. You can imagine it like, if you're going up that shaft, climbing up to the final Sigma fight, and like halfway through the shaft you like just drop your rolling shield gun. Well, I'm not climbing back down. So, Nero on your right does the safe strat again, where he cuts down the arms of Octo. This means no drains attack, no draining attacks. It automatically costs you time over the best RNG. So the best RNG is no drains. So if you get no drains as an RNG, then cutting the arms is a waste of time, because, well, it's a time loss. Guaranteed compared to the best RNG. However, as soon as you get a single drain attack, cutting the arms or getting one drain attack is about the same time loss. So as soon as you get more than one drain attack, you're actually saving time by cutting the arms. So generally speaking, it's always a pretty decent thing to take a safety strat in cutting the arms, because you eliminate the RNG and you cannot get screwed over by ridiculously bad RNG. Reminder that I myself, in my last race I think, against Gare Bear, I think I got like 8 or 9 energy drains, and I kind of cried a little on the inside, because that was, I think at like 2-3 seconds per drain. That kind of stings. Meanwhile, Nero went through. We see these still ahead into Sigma 1. I want to check the exact time, but let's see, 26 into that file door for the skip. We'll see what it is for Darren. But got a leap of fate, and 26 it was for him, and 39. So we're about 13 seconds apart in favor of Nero, who has been trapped cleanly by a vial. So we'll have to see if his amazing one attempt practice in between the two runs paid off here. Darren also gets trapped in a much better spot than last run, because last run he was knocked back really far. Come on, show us what you got, Nero. Show us the power of the singular practice attempt. Go! Hit. That was definitely a lot better than the first attempt. He did not get hit, he did not shoot anything off screen really. He had one hit, I believe, that Aaron gets trapped just once. Vials off screen. Okay, well, still a pretty good fight. Not the absolute best, felt a little bit of time loss, but really still good. So both players getting a pretty good fight. Nero, I would say, got a little bit better one. But since the fight is so fast to begin with, it's not going to make a huge difference right there. And you know, Darren might just go for the Quanger skip again, and if he gets it successfully, might just catch up a whole bunch of seconds here, right? Maybe he'll get a drop this time, because in his first race he did not get an attempt. Not get a drop. Ooh, he had a drop, I believe, but he didn't catch it at the right point. So he did not phantom grab the door. Just initiate the Quanger skip. And he does attempt a double hit on Quanger, but does not get it. And with that we see Quanger going down. Meanwhile, Nero already at the bow spider. Perhaps you should check up on the kill times to see how much difference. Oh, what a nice pattern to start out with for Nero. Fairly easy patterns to start out with, where Spider can't even cross over the entire thing. Oh. Same good start for Darren even. Darren is actually fairly low. I do believe that the single bonk from Bow Spider could kill him. And one more hit to go for Nero, who will finish the boss probably at 23-29. Alright. And 42, so we're still 13 seconds apart in favor of Nero for now. This could, of course, all get swung around the Sigma 2. Sigma 2 very famously known for RNG, and RNG. Mostly in the form of Penguin, Eagle, and Rangda. This stage is absolutely terrible in terms of speedruns, simply because there's 3 bosses that are enormously affected by the RNG that they give you. And if you're doing PB runs, this stage is just a nightmare, because you have to get so far into the game, and then the game might just say no, as we say that. We have 3 slides already for Nero. 1 for Darren. 2 for Darren. 3 for Nero, that's pretty decent. 3 for Darren, now 2. 4, 5, 6. Ugh. Okay, 6. 3 and 6. Yeah. Narrow can of course lose. We all know that the game is not over until the Sigma clauses allow you through. So yeah, anything can still happen. We've seen a lot of people die in this tournament on Final Sigma. So Narrow on the first race did not even get a hit in Sigma 4. Neither did Darren. So you could say it's not gonna happen, but you never know. Narrow had a couple dives here. Since I was slightly distracted with that Sigma talk, I think it was like 4 dives. I think it was 4. Oh. No dives for Darren. Alright, alright. So we have a total of 0 dives in race number 2 for Darren. Pretty cool. And now we're gonna have to see. Darren had pretty crap luck on the rank the eyes on race 1. Narrow again starts up with a blue eye into nose. Narrow again gets a really good rank that fight. Oh. And Darren definitely has a better start than last time where he started with 2 green eyes. Oh. Could have gone a little bit better, but it was definitely not bad. Here we go with Narrow leading on into Sig 3. Gets the reverse ice sled into the Dillo skip. Always cool to see people that do that. This strat is actually not much less efficient than just the straight up fastest method of doing it, where you go really fast through the skip with the ice sled from the front. But in 100% you can't really do this because you need to have your HP for the Hidoken. So in any percent it's more of a legit strat to do this than in any. In any it's more legit than in Hundo, excuse me. I think I got that wrong when I said it the first time. And here we get the, what was it again? The awesome, patched, clean, fantastic fight that wants to get sponsored by Tide on both ends. Yeah, it's indeed pretty similar, just a little bit behind for Darren. Now, Narrow is known to be really consistent with all of the safe strats. Now, I can't really say that Darren has really majorly dropped the ball anywhere. If anything, we see very minor difference popping up. We have like a little bit of RNG going crap here and there. Like Narrow had a couple rolls, Darren had a couple drains. Okay, Darren had a crap B in the intro. They both had some shit RNG on Penguin. No, Narrow also, for example, does the safe strat on Octa where he cuts the arms, where Darren had to sit through a couple drains in the first fight. So it's really all small things that probably add up, but neither runner is really dropping the ball to say like, yeah, he really screwed up there and that's why he lost. You can't really... I think that if this race continues just like race 1, then you cannot really say that Darren played poorly or anything. This is definitely a strong performance out of both players. But you know, one of them has to win, so... Go one of them! Woohoo! Commentator not taking sides. Woohoo! Go one of you guys! Go win it! So we do see both players on the same screen, so I mean, they can't be that far apart, right? Except on one end, that big fat guy is still alive. Crap, I dropped some food again. Luckily it was a candy in a wrapped paper. So, D-Rex, oh. Nero gets pinched in between the wall for a second. Oh, wow. Okay. Nero apparently knows perfectly that he fits in between there, because I thought, what the crap is Nero doing? He's just gonna get himself pinched in a little corner, but then he will actually end up taking no damage. I stand corrected. Perhaps this man is simply a genius, and I am just going to bow down like I should right now, because that was pretty cool. And with that, we see Nero climbing the shaft up to Big Sig. Have to see what happens here. Both of them had a clean Dog and Jedi fight last time, and even a clean final Sig. Worth noting is that Nero had a little mishap on the final Sigma fight, where he dropped off the left claw for a second and almost fell into a fire wave from Big Sig, but he actually did not end up getting hit. Although could have been a little bit dangerous if he did. But, you know, it was still damageless, so... Oh, very good dogfight for Darren here. He did take a hit. And are my eyes deceiving me, or has Darren not picked up as much HP as Nero? Did I miss something? Okay, in any case, Jedi exploding on the side of Nero still has taken no damage. Darren doing his best to catch up, but clearly you still sit with the iframes of Jedi, so not like you can really force anything here. We'll just have to see what happens to Nero here. Again with the pause buffer to see if the claw is not getting in his way. This is the typical thing with Nero. He finds ways to double check his safety while he's doing speedruns. And he's quite inventive, and he does really simple things to secure his safety, but he does them, and yeah. And Nero finishes with a official race ball time of 32:07.05 on his timer. And Darren right behind him with an official time of 32:14. Very close, but Nero in fact takes victory in the second race, and that puts him through today's race as the winner against Darren. And that will leave him to go to the finals to face off against Akiteru. And not gonna lie, Nero versus Akiteru could be a pretty high praise. Akiteru, probably not a very known runner to most that are not part of our community, like a bit more close by, because Aki's not a big streamer, but he's definitely someone that's really dedicated to his speedruns, much like Nero. And then Nero, of course, with his very well known for his consistency, his little safe strats or things that he invents where he can really pull himself through. So, yeah. Yeah, he's an I do have to pick in on that. It is indeed true that Aki is in the mentality of someone like Louise, who we've seen before in the tournament. Aki is someone that says, I'm taking it all or I'm taking nothing. So I do not think that the safe strats will necessarily be enough, but I mean, consistency is still a big thing. Anyone can make mistakes. We do mention this is the MMX anything can go wrong % tournament. So anyway, let's see if those two guys want to have a little chat. I will update you if people actually want to talk to me or not. I would not be surprised if they didn't want to. Yeah, it's true. They actually, that is true. Nero and Aki did start in the same group. It's actually funny that they meet again in the finals. So yeah, I mean, consistency is a big thing in this category. If you can play it flawlessly, it's a really big deal. Oh. Wait, Nero left the SRL chat. Gosh dang. I need to go pick this guy up on Discord if he wants to. Darren will actually be here in a second. We will see about Nero. I don't know, I do see that someone is asking when is the finals, Chrono. The finals, I'm not sure when the finals are. I do believe that much like with the rest of the tournament, the finals will be set. The date will be set, the date and time by the runners themselves when they are both available. Clearly everyone needs to kind of find a time. I'm not sure about Nero and Aki, what they do in real life, besides their stream, but even outside of that, you have to think, I believe Aki is in Canada or USA, I'm not really sure. He's definitely in the US time zone. And Nero is in Japan, so there's definitely a time zone difference to keep track of, so they definitely need to fix that. But as soon as there's a time set, you will be able to find it on the link where you see schedule with the MMX schedule, tiny.cc/MMX schedule. Meanwhile, we have Nero saying that he does not really want to pop into Discord. So we'll just have with Aaron, who did pop up here. Hello. Yeah, a bit unfortunate. You did not really put up any bad races today, I would say, but Nero too strong, I guess.
Yeah, the infamous God Gamer Nero strikes again.
Yeah, pops up in these X1 races like, I haven't played this game, I don't really have interest in playing this game, and he pops into the tournament, beats the crap out of everyone. He does it again, just like with the Hundo tournament. What a guy.
Yeah. I would say they definitely weren't, on my end, they weren't bad race times. Super happy about them, I guess.
Yeah, no, you definitely had some good times. You had a 32-14, I'm not sure. The other one was 32-20 something, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. Which I was surprised at because I was so behind in my splits on the second one, but somehow still came out ahead of the first race, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, it depends where your time saves are, I suppose. Yeah, it was really nice to see because most of the races, the two of you were always really close, catching up a little bit to each other left and right. Sometimes you were a little bit ahead, but I guess, yeah, just small things make a difference left and right. And Nero always was a little bit ahead of you when you got to Sig 1, because you had a little bit of a split route in the later part of 8 maps. And yeah, he just doesn't let go. I guess it's what he's known for. He's really consistent and he doesn't easily make mistakes, and
yeah, for sure. In the passive Bs in that second race, I was kind of bummed out about, but I still only managed to be 3 seconds behind in my PB out of intro, so I was and then I get to Penguin and he gives me a triple slide, and I'm like, this is not fine.
Oh yeah, I counted the slides. Actually, slides on Penguin were pretty bad for both of you. I believe that one of you had 7 and the other had 6, so...
Yeah, we both, I mean, because Nero, I mean, those are good race times still, but for Nero, 32 is
Yeah, although in fact I did check.
Must have happened for sure.
I did check before this race. I do believe your PB is better than his, unless he has not updated his on the leaderboards.
Well, I've heard he's also not a big fan of this category just because of all the luck involved in any percent.
Well, I was I was literally there when he told everyone he had no interest in playing in this tournament.
Well, maybe not no interest, but he's just not a huge fan of the category, probably.
Yeah, well, I don't blame him. We do mention it a lot of the time as well, especially when people get the Sigma 2. Like, if you were attempting to PB and you got to this stage and then Penguin and Eagle and Rangda tell you to screw yourself and go back to the intro, well, there's that.
It's a great thing about my PB right now. In that second race against Fatso, I had a one-slide Penguin, no dive Eagle, and then the God pattern from Rangda. So it's like... I'm always losing like 10 to 15 seconds on that split.
Yeah, I can absolutely imagine that is absolutely hilarious to run against.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah. So, what is going to be next for you? You're out of this tournament. You're still going to be like running MMX. You're going to do something else?
Well, yeah. I don't know if I'm going to practice a whole bunch, but Tokyo and I still have to do a third place match.
Oh, wait, there's a third place match? Oh crap, I'm the worst commentator. You're right, there's a third place match. Alright, everybody, Darren's not out of the tournament. He can still beat the crap out of Tokyo for third place. So, how much are you gonna pay Octo to give him a couple infinites? I heard he rage quits when that happens.
I would too, honestly.
I mean, all you have to do is
I'll practice some more for that race, but other than that, I think I want to move on to X2 and X3. Just because 31 and 46
you're gonna stay with the series, though. Right.
Well, yeah. I mean, these games are really great speed games, and yeah, X1 any percent PB at this point is like that is pretty good for me.
Yeah, if you get a 31, I think you can be quite satisfied with yourself. At that point, I think you should consider, like, do I want to really go for, like, the top tier where you're like, do I want to go for a world record, or am I just gonna try to have fun and do something new? Because I think at that point, grinding it out becomes, like, really tedious as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and especially in X1 any percent, it's like, you know, you're rolling the dice on so much stuff, it can be kind of frustrating after a while.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, wait. Meanwhile, I'm gonna drop the links. Everyone for today, because unless you have something to say to all of the people out here, I'm gonna start finishing off because I don't really have much else to talk about. Actually, I do have something else. What do you think about the final? So we have Aki versus Nero. What was your thought on
that? I guess if Aki keeps playing the way he has in the past few matches he's had, then, I mean, he's probably going to take it. For sure.
Yeah.
But, you know, again, it's any percent, so anything could happen. But
and
with the way Aki's
mentioned playing, that they came out of the same group at the start of this tournament where Nero actually took the game out of Akiteru. So I'll have to see what that does.
Yeah,
anyway, with that, I'm kind of out of questions. Everyone should really follow the runners. So Darren and Nero, I put the link already with the speed gaming bot in the chat. They put up some good races for you guys, so if you want, go follow them. Commentary is me. I don't stream much, and definitely a lot of speed games, but I mean, go ahead, do what you want with that one. And then, of course, for the tournament, the bracket, there's only 2 matches left, which is the finals of Aki Teru versus Nero_X2 and the semi-final, no, not semi-final, third place match between Tokyo 90 and Darren here. These will probably be scheduled in the upcoming week or maybe 2 weeks. I'm not sure what the exact time frame is that we were given. I'd have to check up on that. But you can always find out on the schedule that you see there when it is scheduled and that you can come in to watch that. And of course, as usual, people will create VODs of all the races that you can always watch all of these races back. Or if you have a friend that missed it, then you can just send them right there. No spoilers. Or we will slap you hard. Yeah, I think that's kind of it for me for today. Thank you everybody for watching. There should still be a whole bunch of other speed gaming content as per usual you can find here. I can just open the tab here and see what's going on. I see Speed Gaming 4 ALTTP Randomizer Key Sanity Tournament. Speed Gaming 2 is Ori and the Blindfolded All Skills Tournament. That's the channel we're on, and yeah, that's it. So there's definitely still ALTTP and Ori going on. If you guys feel like watching one of those, you should head over to the appropriate channels. I will slap them for you, Mr. Sankry. With that, I'm gonna be out. This was Dragon Commentary, and I'm gonna wish everyone a good night, and see you all for the finals or the third place match.
Yep.
Goodbye.
Thanks, Drago, for the commentary, and Speed Gaming for hosting us. See you guys later.
Oh yeah, of course. Thanks always to Fiesel for restreaming. He's always there in the background doing so much work. Or someone else from Speed Gaming. Thank you guys, you're the best. Good night.